Space. Often depicted to be a lifeless void, only filled with the dim lights of stars. This is what you saw when you first opened Run. Run was created in 2007 by a Player03 and Zella. Player was the mastermind for most of it, coming up with the gravity switching and space setting while doing the programming, while Zella was responsible for all the art and animation. They're the one who drew the alien, who would soon become the mascot of a beloved web game franchise. Originally, the game was completely in grayscale, meaning that everything was gray, black, and white, until someone commented on how the grayscaled levels weren't that appealing. This led to the bright, almost neon colors we see today. The game was released in August 2008 on albinoblacksheep.com, a website that surprisingly still exists today. Originally, the game only had a 50-level adventure mode, but over the years until 2012, it was updated with an endless mode and an edit mode, which are pretty self-explanatory. In the adventure mode, as previously stated, there were 50 levels, which you could play on 3 different difficulties. As like almost any game, as you progressed, the harder the levels got. Also, as you progressed, the tunnels would slowly change colors. The endless mode was similar to the adventure mode, but with randomly generated tunnels that got progressively harder, while the edit mode is pretty confusing to be honest. Anyway, this game quickly became a classic, with many applauding its creative design and gravity gimmick. Run 2 was pretty divisive to be honest. It still had everything that made Run special, but the blocky aesthetic was an interesting choice. Run 2 was released on March 21st, 2011, and was the first game to include an additional character, the skater, who's faster but harder to control, as well as the regular runner, who was the same as the base game, basically a jack of all trades. But these weren't just additional movesets, because they both came with 25 levels unique to them. Also, while Run 2 didn't have an endless mode, it still had an edit mode. If you collected every yellow star in the game, you would be able to use the characters in each other's levels. You would also unlock a double jump. Run 2 is almost like the black sheep of the Run games, because while it maintains the same DNA, many find its blocky aesthetic and gameplay style off-putting. But in my opinion, there is real merit to this game, introducing a new character with a different playstyle, and without this game, there would be no Run 3 is the most expansive and considered the definitive edition of Run. This is because of the sheer amount of content there is. Run 3 was released on December 11th of 2013 as a remake of the original Run for the app stores, but throughout the years, consistent updates has made this the most popular and definitive version of Run. There is an adventure mode with 309 unique levels, even having branching paths, an infinite mode with 325 pre-built tunnels that cycle through each other, and a level editor, which again is pretty too advanced for me. Shout out to you though if you know how to use it. There was also a shop where you could unlock costumes, upgrades, and other stuff with power cells, and you could get power cells from the Infinity Game mode. As for the actual gameplay, this game greatly enhanced it. There was a greater variety of sides, there was no delay, there were new tiles, like the crumbling tile that fell once you touched it or the ice block that was slippery, that spiced up the gameplay, and most importantly, there were characters. 10 to be exact, each with unique gameplay gimmicks that made the game infinitely replayable. The 10 characters were the runner, who was the default and jack of all trades, the skater from Run 2, who was faster, the lizard, who is for babies who sucked at the game, the bunny, who was the fastest character and had the highest jump but they couldn't stop jumping, the child, who had a slow jump and an even slower descent, the gentleman, who had an even slower fall and could magnetize himself to nearby power cells, Duplicator, who was basically just Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse personified, the Pastafarian, who was more of a dev tool than a character, the student, who was really bad except they could flip gravity, and the angel, who could dash midair. Also, I neglected to mention this, but some of these characters were technically introduced a year earlier, but it was only for the Congregate version of the first game, and for members only. Also, they weren't even really characters, but costumes, not having any special abilities. I just thought I should bring that up real quick just in case any of you want to know. As you can see, this game was big, but we're not even done yet, because this game had one other thing that was completely unique to it: lore. Yes, silly alien game about running has lore. After you beat a couple levels in adventure mode, you'd get a cutscene. Basically, in this game, the runner, aka the main character, is trying to map out the world she habits. And as she does, she meets new people, aka the other characters, who help her map out the world as she meets them. That's the reason why there's a game. But this is a simplified explanation. And through the cutscenes, we get to learn many new things about the many different characters and their world, which I unfortunately don't have enough time to get into today, but maybe in a future video. But as I've explained, this game was massive, and has the most broad appeal of the entire Run franchise. And with these 3 games, this little alien has cemented himself a part of internet and gaming culture forever. I just think it's crazy that this silly little alien became a part of many different people's childhoods. Whether you played this game in school, on the library, computer, or at home. And come on, man, it has lore. Today, Run 3 still gets occasional updates, and the creator, Player03, is still active on the Run wiki and streams occasionally on YouTube, while you can still access all 3 of the Run games on various websites around the internet. I'll have a bunch of links in the description with ways you can play these games, as well as anything else I mentioned throughout this video. But I hope you enjoyed and maybe even learned something new. As always, so usually I don't really do this type of thing, but I decided for this video I would change things up. So this is basically just like an outro thing that I see other YouTubers do sometimes. Anyway, yeah, so how'd you like the video and what'd you think about it? Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section, I guess, and subscribe if you want. And what's your connection to Run? How did you first find out about this franchise, and what do you think about the games? Did you start playing with Run 3, or are you an OG who started playing when the game first came out with Run 1? Me personally, I loved playing Run 3 during school when I really wasn't supposed to, with all my friends and stuff. You know, we'd go to like the Unblocked Games website and stuff, and yeah, it was good times. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, like I said, and yeah, I don't think I'm really good at this like from the top of my head type stuff, but I have a Twitter, so you can follow me on there, and if you've made it this far into the video, you're probably like a super fan, like you probably just like stalk me all the time, so let me know what you think about this. I'm thinking about enabling memberships for my channel, meaning that if you paid like $1 a month, you could get your name at the end of my videos, and $2 a month, you would be able to get early access to my videos. Let me know what you think about that, if you would pay for it or not. I don't know, and yeah, my next video is gonna be about furries, so that's a little sneak peek. Okay, I'm done, bye.